Welcome everyone. Another market blitz. Fed fund rate tomorrow, Fed press conference, so big news on deck. Bank of Japan after that on Thursday. So I'll show you some of the setups I'm looking at. We'll go over the majors again, show you how to play some of these pairs going into the press conference. And we'll get into all that. Risk disclaimer, read it over. And let's go. So we'll start off here on CAD Yen. And reason we're in CAD Yen, because if we go to the weekly chart, right, we're looking for this big wave 3 down. I'll go to the daily chart, right? We're looking for a 3 down. And you could be in something like that, right? A 1, a 2, and we're getting ready to start a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down for our wave 3. So that's why we peppered CAD Yen with some orders, and we got another order up here, and we're in already. So what, right? I'll dive down to the 1 hour, but there's really no point in labeling the 1 hour because these 1 hour highs and lows you can't hold them during the press conference, right? If there was no Fed fund rate tomorrow or Bank of Japan news, then we could just trade the 1 hour, right? So uh but this is what it looks like we have so far. So it looks like you've got one correction. This could potentially be your X wave and you're in some kind of a Y now. Now, it looks like this could actually be your X wave over here. And you're probably building out some kind of Y. Like, this thing could get more complex because you could. Let me clear this off real quick. In the 1 hour chart, right, this could be a running flat right here. And you just broke the high slightly. So now, if we come down for this wave down, now all of this right here becomes your X wave. So we got a W and X. And do we keep dropping from here or does it come up for another Y wave, right? Throw you another Y wave up here. So that's kind of where we're at, right? There's a couple other patterns you could draw. You could maybe move your X wave over here and maybe you're in some kind of a, right? You're just getting ready to do something like this and then it throws you a Y wave, right? So you got a W and then now we got a zigzag, or you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You crawl on up and then it turns into a zigzag, something like that. And then all this is your correction and we drop, right? So it's kind of what I'm right. You're looking for kind of something like these. Like I said, there's no point in trying to trade this thing in the 1 hour because the ATR of the news event is going to be larger than the highs and lows on your 1 hour chart. So, which is why really the only way to play it is pepper it with a couple orders, and if we close above, and you're not looking for a close above this high, all right? So that's CAD Yen. We're still just kind of sitting here, right? So the farther away it stays from our next entry, the better. Um, Ideally, we wouldn't like it to push up into that area during the Bank of Japan rate decision and press conference. And we'll go over that with like dollar CAD and stuff too, right? So let's check out dollar CAD. And when we look at dollar CAD on the 4 hour chart, we got, let's go daily. All right, we went over yesterday that we've got a lot of traders here, right? We've got daily order block traders that we just broke structure. I'll zoom in here, right? So right here, price just broke structure, right? So order block traders will pull this now, right? So now order block traders, daily order block traders have a level here waiting to buy. They got orders here. Pivot traders got orders here. All right. Weekly chart. Do we have anything? Weekly chart. Order block traders. All right. We just broke last week. We closed above this weekly high, leaving this weekly order block. All right. Another weekly order block down here. And there is the start of it. So we got daily order block. We've got weekly order block. Let's go 4 hour. All right, so this is the top of our weekly order block. I'll remove this. We also got trendline traders, right? Trendline traders are going to be looking to pull the trigger. All right. We have retrace traders, right? 50% retrace traders are going to be pulling this. So again, there's a ton of groups of traders that should have orders here, right? You got trendline traders, 61 retrace traders, 78 retrace traders, order block traders, weekly order block traders, pivot traders. All right, am I forgetting any? Structure traders, right? Structure traders, EMA traders. This is our 4 hour 200, right? So that's our 4 hour 200. And when we put our daily chart on, it'd be a pullback to our daily 34. So EMA traders, all right? You got a ton of traders in this area that are just trying to buy, right? So, I mean, it's a great area to put an order, but you absolutely don't want to see a close below there. And you don't want to see price start to work its way down here either, all right? You don't want to see price start to work its way down here for the press conference and the Fed fund rate. All right. If we're down here at the press conference and the Fed fund rate, then you got to take your order off because they could spike it down. All right. We could come down to the daily 200. All right. They could spike this down to 35.50, right? 35 between 35.75, 35.50. And so we want price to stay up here. We want price to be up here in order to have these orders down here. This way we can catch any spikes down. And if price closes below here, we would just shut the order down without taking much of a loss, right? So if price comes down here, you can't have an order here in case you get a spike like this. Now you're cooked, right? So, and I know what you're thinking, right? If the Fed is not going to cut rates, and CAD should go up, but I know how these banks work, and I know that this could be a correction right here, and we could have one, and we can have two, and we can have three down to the 200. And they know that there's a shitload of orders sitting here, and if they push this thing down to the daily 200, they'll squeeze out this whole group of traders, right? 6 groups of traders will get squeezed out, stopped out, and then price does this right off the 200. All right, so forget the news and just trade the chart. I don't care if the news is good. The bell going off. So it can still do this even if the Fed doesn't cut rates, right? Just because the banks would want to squeeze 10 groups of traders out right here, knowing that they're sitting here ready to buy. It doesn't mean you can't put an order here. But what it does mean is if we close below this level on the daily chart, it's time to get out. Our next buy point would then be the daily 200. So that's kind of how you want to play dollar CAD. And you really, I like dollar CAD the best because dollar CAD has bullish trends all the way from the monthly, right? You step out to the monthly and you're bullish all the way. You're above the 8. We could be in a daily impulse. We got to move up to these highs, right? Monthly, you're bullish. Weekly, you're bullish. Daily, you're bullish. So when we go to euro, right, we're not we don't have a daily setup on euro, right? Even though we're expecting it to run down, I just like CAD a lot more because we got our EMAs are bullish across the board. Even though we are still expecting a move down like this. Now, we have the weekly chart, right? The weekly chart is bearish, and we're making potential lower high, lower high. This is potentially a lower high to come after these ones. So I am looking for downside, but I do like CAD a little better. But um, monthly, you're coming off your monthly 34. All right. So on the monthly chart, right? If we look at euro on the monthly chart, it really just looks like you're in some kind of a B wave. So it looks like you want to come back to these lows, and you're just making a flat correction on the monthly chart. So you're coming down, and then you're coming up, right? And you're just making a flat correction right here. Here's your flat, and then you come down for one more. So now you have an A, a B, and a C, and you're in the B wave part of that. We are bearish, so we are looking to come down here. So pattern wise, on it looks like you want to come down here to 104.50, and weekly chart's bearish, right? So it's just not bearish on the daily yet. So so what do you want to do, right? And it's the same thing. You want euro to stay down here. And if you want to be aggressive, we are starting to stack on the 4 hours. So you could throw an order up here at your 4 hour 200. All right. And then you could throw another order up here at this order block. All right. Because we have order block and pivot traders up here. All right. So, uh, 4 hour. Right. So you could put a order up here at your 4 hour 200 in case price wants to rip up, and then make some kind of a double top off your 400, and then go. And if it gets past the 400, you're going to have another order up here at your pivots and your uh, order block, and you don't want to see a close above here. So I do like this one as well. So I like this one. Pepper an order at your 4 hour 200 if we're still down here, right? If price crawls its way up here and we're sitting at the 200 come press conference time, and we're sitting here during Fed fund rate and press conference, you can't put this order here. All right. Maybe you can get away with putting one up here and a stop above here. All right. But you want price to just kind of, I'm putting these orders here, assuming price is going to be where it's at right now come press conference time. All right. And same thing on Aussie, right? So daily chart, and you could do, I would not do, you know what? I wouldn't do this on Aussie. I just don't like this bullish stack you have right here. And if any of them really have a chance of making a daily engulfing candle, it's probably Aussie, right? You get a big green candle like this, and then now all of this was correction, and we're just coming up to take out these highs one more time. So like I said, but dollar CAD has the EMAs and stuff on your side. So as much as I do like Aussie to the downside, I wouldn't play around with this pair. I wouldn't play around with it during the press conference and Fed fund rate. Let's just wait for another setup next week. All right. Or Friday, right? If something sets up Thursday or Friday, we'll catch it on Market Blitz. So Aussie just kind of feels like it wants to give you this. Well, I feel like it could, right? It could give you this. And then from this level, it could get rejected hard. And now we close below that weekly 8, right? We're back below our weekly 8. So last week we closed below our weekly 8, and we want to stay below this weekly 8. we're looking for this 8 to cross back below the 34. All right, it's only going to do that if we close below the 8. We're looking for a double top, right? You're looking for this expanded flat, and we're looking to drop. So we want to close this week below the 8. And that is that Forex crosses, right? So the one I really want to go over is CAD Swiss, all right? And I like this one, and you're getting a 5 swing sequence now coming into your 34, and I'll put the Stokes back on. All right, so we've got, this is another one that you might want to just pepper with orders, right? You could put an order at the 4-hour 34 and your 4-hour 200, all right? And you're good to go, and you just don't want to see a close above here. Now, you could trade this thing on the 4-hour, but if you get stopped out, chances are it wants to make a daily cycle up, all right? Because we're at the bottom of the daily cycle, and it might want to make an overbought 34B on the daily chart, which would be your 4-hour 200. So, which is why I think if you go in on this next 4-hour engulfing close below the 8, go at 0.5%, save another half for up here at your 4-hour 200, all right? And what I'm kind of looking for on this, right, I'm looking for something like this. See this? See how our daily's oversold running into the 34, and then we get that, right? That's what I'm looking for. So, see this over here? Daily's overbought running into the 34. So, are we going to be overbought running into the 34, and then we're looking for that move down? So, move this. So we could stay here another couple days, right? And we drop down to the 4-hour chart. This thing could stay correcting a little longer, and we could get like a double top or something off of our 4-hour 200, right? While the daily chart is making that run up to overbought. Now we have a double top off our 4-hour 200 with divergence maybe, while our daily chart's overbought, and then we get that drop, all right? So if you're going to try and enter this 4-hour 34, it's not a bad trade, but it could turn into this. So save some money to buy up at this 4-hour 200. All right, and pound dollars, right? We're still in the same thing as pound dollars, and we had the same thing as last time, right? If we draw up all the confluence in this area, you've got trendline traders, you've got 50 retrace traders, right? So, and we went over this yesterday, how pound dollars is a high confluence area right here. All right, so we got trendline traders, retrace traders, pivot traders. We step out to the daily chart. We have, let me just clean this up some. Get rid of these pivots. I don't know if it looks noisy for you guys or not. All right, so we got trendline traders, retrace traders. We got order block traders, weekly chart. We got weekly chart traders, right? Because we just closed above our previous week's high, pull this order block. So we got the top of that order block is right here. So again, you just have a ton of confluence right here, and we have pound GDP, right? We got our 4-hour 200. So any, right, any spikes down into this area, it should get bought up immediately, and it's a great area to look for a buy setup, right? So pound dollars, I like this setup a lot. Now again, we don't want to close below this level because we have so many groups of traders here that are buying this. We got trendline traders, we got 50 retrace traders, 50 and 618 retrace traders, weekly pivot traders, order block traders, so EMA traders, we got like 10 groups of traders trying to buy right here. So if market does do this, then we need to get out because all these other traders would have to get out along with us. So that is that. All right, pound Oz, it's a nice buy down here. I'm looking for a pullback to about 192.10 and a rip. That's if we even pull back, right? But we do have pound GDP. All right, so that is that. The one thing we don't have, I don't need this to take a trade, but you can see here on pound Swiss that this is why I really like this trade because CAD Swiss right here, right? That CAD Swiss trade we're looking at, retail is very long this position, and we have nice sell setup. So the one thing we are split on pound dollars, but we are trending up. We did close above the 8 on the weekly chart, right? So, and we are looking for this pattern here on the weekly chart. We're above the 8 on the weekly, and we're looking to come take out these highs, and we're looking for this still, right? So regardless of what pound pound GDP could come out at flat, right, tonight, and you could still get this move, and then you would just get this pushed down, right? Just making a larger structure right here. So again, don't trade the news, just trade the chart. And right now the chart is telling us to buy, and we're getting a good buy setup on the lower time frame, right? 4-hour chart. So that is that. All right, so that's all I got for today. Right, we want dollar CAD to kind of stay where it's at right now, and we want to pepper it with orders down there. If you're not already in, if you're already in and don't want to add anymore, that's fine. If you're looking to add, you could put some orders down there, and like I said, you don't want to see closes below that key level on dollar CAD, and you could pepper euro with some orders. I would not do it on Aussie though. All right, so that is that. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.